Good arguments can be made that Trump and his minions in the Senate and House have endangered U.S. national security by tying aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan to a resolution of the immigration problem on their terms. Cogent arguments are made by Niall Ferguson in this interview that can be found on YouTube titled Ukraine Will Lose. He points out correctly that the blocking of aid to Ukraine by the Republicans will embolden Putin to take more territory and China to blockade and eventually invade Taiwan. He points out that Iran would likely respond with more aggressive actions against Israel. With the U.S. proving it is no longer a reliable counterforce and deterrent to aggression by totalitarian regimes as a result of the Republican actions so far, Trump's party is making it more likely that the U.S. will suffer grievous losses in the future trying to roll back renewed aggression by totalitarian regimes. In an article titled, quote, "Is Congress really going to abandon Ukraine now?" end quote, the conservative Ann Applebaum, a lifelong critic of authoritarian governments and authoritarian movements in what remains of Western democracies, made a similar assessment. She said this, quote, "But an even deeper, broader shockwave would be triggered by the growing realization that the United States is not just an unreliable ally, but an unserious ally, a silly ally," end of quote. It is not Congress that is helping Putin absorb Ukraine, but the Republican Party that is totally controlled by Donald Trump. Trump take the bipartisan immigration legislation supported by the Border Patrol Union because he wanted the border problem to remain as it is now. The Democrats made major concessions to secure passage and received none of their priorities, including a pathway to citizenship for the DACA children that the Republicans oppose firmly. Passage would have made significant progress in dealing with this issue, which is why the Republicans killed it. It's just that simple. The end result is that Trump gets what he wants, no action at all before the election. Contrary to the Republican statements, the U.S. courts have ruled that the government cannot shut down the border and turn away asylum seekers without a change in the existing law, which would have to be passed by Congress and signed by the president. The Republicans are engaged now in deception when making that claim. Trump's efforts in his early in his term to restrict asylum application was held to be illegal under existing law, which is crystal clear if you read the immigration law. While that assertion that I have just made will have no impact on the Trump voter, who is not going to pay any attention to actual factual information, it will resonate with the swing voters and Republican voters who have become thoroughly disgusted with Trump and his minions in Congress. The Democrats will make sure that those voters are so informed by airing comments made by Senator Langford and other Republicans that the motive for tanking the compromise was nothing other than a pure political ploy in an election year. So Trump's actions and the entire Mayorkas impeachment push will backfire, in my opinion, in November in a big way.